If you want to catch up on more videos from our channel, then all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button right now. Hey there guys, what's up and welcome back to our channel. Since the innovation of rockets, a few thousand of them have been sent into space with a barrage of achievements and accolades. Some of them were simple looking rockets, whereas others were huge machines like the 363-foot tall Saturn V rocket. The expectation to absorb information to get ground rockets in space has been steep notwithstanding, and even today, little errors or unexpected conditions can bring about catastrophic failures and disasters. In this video, we're going to have a look at some of the rocket launches that went horribly wrong. Number 5. The Netherlands. Possibly the most noticeably awful rocket launch ever, the Netherlands catastrophe occurred in Russia in 1960. However, information on it didn't make it to our piece of the world until 1989. Russian specialists stayed quiet about the calamity, which was great thinking about its extent. It was accounted for that 78 individuals kicked the bucket, although some different sources guarantee that somewhere in the range of 90 to 126 individuals passed on, while 120 others endured non-deadly wounds. It is believed that a short out in the fundamental sequencer of an AR-16 model rocket caused the fizzle, which exploded a fuel tank, pulverizing the rocket. Strikingly, a camera was running at that point, which got the blast as it recorded. Each and every individual who was close by was promptly burned. However, the individuals who were further away met their demise by the poisonous fumes from the fuel itself. A large number of those in the territory attempted to get away, however, were caught by the security fence as the whole zone was immersed in fire. Two overcomers of the impact had left not long before the mishap to go have a cigarette behind a shelter, yet they were still seriously consumed. The Soviet government concealed the fiasco right away. The leader of the base was said to have kicked the bucket in a plane accident, and every person included was said to have met a similar destiny too. Regardless, the Italian news announced that it was a rocket blast practically immediately, and in 1965, a Soviet government operative affirmed the subtleties too. Be that as it may, the Soviet Union didn't recognize the mishap at all until 1989. Number 4. The Vanguard TV-3. During the Cold War, the US and the Soviet Union were continually attempting to one-up one another. The space race was one of the greatest and most ranting ways that one nation could disgrace the other. Going where no man had gone before appeared as though a tiny method to make a mockery of your nation's ability when it came to science and engineering. That's actually how the Vanguard TV-3 rocket came to be such a mistake. Both the US and the Soviet Union were contending to launch the world's initial satellite into space. In October 1957, the Soviets dominated that race by dispatching Sputnik. They followed it up with a second Sputnik before the US had the option to attempt to get it together with their own. Racing through the cycle was an ill-conceived notion, as their first endeavor in December 1957, the Vanguard Test Vehicle 3 figured out how to get a staggering 4 feet off the ground before it fell over and detonated. The principal issue with this launch mistake was on the grounds that the US had two associations contending to be the first to the table, which implied that assets were extended meager. Also, obviously, scrambling to get something noticeable all around in light of the fact that another nation showed you up is certainly not a decent method to do science. Number 3. Goes G. In some cases, no measure of arranging can keep an incident from occurring. That was the situation with the Goes G satellite that NASA was planning to launch in 1986. The launch appeared to go off easily, and there wasn't in fact a mistake in the plan that made it crash. Rather, nature happened to have it in for NASA. Following a brief flight time, lightning struck the Delta rocket that was conveying the satellite. A short out shut the rocket's fundamental motor, and with several promoters actually terminating the rocket, started to tumble crazy. To limit the harm, NASA really drew in the rocket's fall to pieces with the goal that the entire thing wouldn't collide with the ground, causing considerable damage. In fact, the rocket ought to have had the option to deal with a bolt of immediate lightning hit. However, a few issues with the wiring caused the shortout in the wake of the lightning hit. The potential gain of the mishap was that rockets, since the time, have been overhauled to be better ready to deal with electrical floods.
Have been jettisoned. We have a main engine shutdown.
Number 2. Falcon 9. 9 years after the failure of the Falcon 1 rocket, Elon Musk and SpaceX were back confronting issues with their Falcon 9. It accepted a broken swagger inside the supporter's upper stage, which made the rocket detonate not long after it dispatched. The rocket was determined to resupply the space station in the interest of NASA. In any case, a swagger that held down a jug of high-pressure helium snapped in transit up. The jug at that point gave it like a shot out of the highest point of the supporter fluid oxygen tank, which caused what they thought brought an overweight occasion. In layman's terms, it made the rocket explode. Regularly, there are many of these swaggers on the rocket that are equipped for withstanding over 10,000 pounds of power. It's assessed that this specific swagger was simply liable to around 2,000 pounds when it broke, which means there was a flaw in some place of its plan. Number 1. The Challenger. The Challenger had just been to space in 1983 and in 3 years had gone through more than 62 days in space as of now. The principal space troll of the NASA's space transport program was completed by the team of the Challenger, and America's first female space traveler and first African-American space explorer were ready for the Challenger. It was on the 10th dispatch that the bus detonated only a brief time after launch, killing every one of the 7 team individuals. The Challenger had been filled with issues in its past, as the vessel was never at any point proposed to go in space regardless. It was worked as a test vehicle, yet retrofitted with the fundamental segments to make its space commendable. That was anything but a momentary change, notwithstanding, as there were issues with a hydrogen spill in the primary motor and different frameworks. The difficulty that prompted the accident was accused of cold climate debasing the seal on the rocket. The after effect of the blast was a broad upgrade from NASA's bus program, including finishing the possibility of permitting non-space explorers into space over the next 20 years. Launch failure consistently comes as a stun, regardless of how much vehicle testing they prepare for or how new and unpracticed the dispatch group. The real disappointment is rarely anticipated. On the off chance that it had been predicted, they would have fixed it. In all cases, however, individuals figured they could disregard reality and pull it off. The space dispatch business is far less lenient of such a technology than most types of attempts and typically gives prior and more staggering criticism. Furthermore, in case of a disappointment, maybe the main inquiry isn't the reason that this happened, yet for what reason did this issue sneak past us? Answering that last inquiry might be not just mistakenly more troublesome than basically deciding the reason for disappointment, yet additionally, unquestionably more agonizing regarding remedial activity too. So what are your thoughts about these rocket launch crashes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, while also hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel, as well as hitting that bell icon to be informed about more videos like this in the future. Until next time guys, take care and goodbye.